have to figure out what I'm sharing here. I'm going to share
Okay.
screen right
We'll be
now.
starting the program any moment.
Yep. Whenever you guys are ready.
We're ready, and this is Jen Sowers.
Yeah!
Hello.
And Carol Bagel
Where's Carol?
also was on the trip, and she's also the co-presenter. And we're ready to go.
All right. Cool. Oop. All right. So I will tell you what's going on. First of all, when I committed to this, well, since I committed to this, I had an accident, tore my ACL, and it's kind of ironic because part of why I went to India, I had actually a really bad year, 2 years, and I had torn my ACL a year and a half ago, and so I was on the mend, and Carol had sent out the announcement about the this tour, and I signed up. So going to India was my sort of reward for getting better from this injury, and here I am re-injured. And it does have a GPC connection because, and just for the people that are listening, we're going to get to a little more lively video stuff here. But we are broadcasting from the Grizzly Peak Cyclist monthly meeting, and it was through this, Carol sent out an announcement about the India tour, and that's how I wound up going. Yeah.
Carol, do you actually want to sit here? So
No, I'm
you can
good.
be talking to the audience.
I'm good.
Okay.
Is that
Thank you.
Joe Sensador?
What's that?
Is that other person Joe Sensador?
No, that is, whoops.
Marlene and Bert, and they
Yeah.
were on the trip too.
So I thought I'd just start out with telling you who went. There's Carol, there's Marlene, there's Bert, and there's me. So there were 4 Americans, no other foreigners, and then the rest Indian. And this is actually everybody except Marlene and Bert. That is Jewy, Chandana, Yash. His name I can't pronounce. I'm sorry if you're listening. PJ, Salil. Who's that? Oh, that's Abhijit, also known as Bear. I have to get closer. Nandini,
Oh, you're so good.
Carol, Amit, Sandeep, me. That's Milind, also known as Doc. He's the organizer of the tour, and he's a medical doctor, and he runs tours in the Himalayas. I'm using the Indian pronunciation. That is Sushil, who had a solar-powered or solar-assisted bike. That's Rutesh, who is our tour guide leader, our assistant. That's Desh, the driver, crazy, Shaklaga, which I'll explain later, and that's Jitu, our mechanic. So, wanted to introduce everybody, and
What language were you guys talking?
in English.
all learn English in school.
So actually, it's a good question because I wound it up with some language issues. Here, I'm going to go to here. So here, this is a map, and I didn't have Strava data, but one of the go away. Where is it? There it is. One of the riders, Nandini, gave me hers. So for those of you not familiar with India, there it is. And we rode from Mumbai to Goa. So we did it's the west coast. It's about 350 miles, 500 kilometers. And you should know that we were in the state of Maharashtra. And the predominant language in Maharashtra is Marathi. Although most people speak Hindi, I mean, that's kind of the lingua franca, but when we were having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with folks, if they weren't speaking to us in English, they were talking to each other in Marathi.
Okay.
And then we wound up in Goa, and you know, states in India have much more significance than, say, states in the United States, in that when you're in another state, there's a different culture, there's different castes, there's different language, and you could sort of see the transitions from one to the next. So Goa is actually a tiny state, and it used to be a Portuguese colony, so there's a lot of names that are Portuguese.
Which became part of India, not with the Portuguese consent, as I recall.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we basically made our way down to, and we did it from December 18th until December 25th. So we actually wound up on Christmas Day in Goa, which has a fairly strong Christmas celebration. And I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit.
And you started on a ferry.
Yeah.
No,
So
they swam.
here's what's that?
I said no, they swam.
So you guys probably, so my friends on Facebook know, I arrived and immediately arrived with no luggage and no unicycle. So I spent the first 2 days scrambling to try to find my cycle, and so I met everybody at the pier. It's actually called the Gateway of India, and they all took off. And after 2 days, I was able to get my luggage at 11:30 a.m. the same day everyone else started. Picked it up. It's a long story, and we wound up driving. So while everyone else took the ferry and rode, I had to drive with two other guys in a little van with all my stuff up here, because you basically go way the way up and then all the way down and then all the way down, all the way down. And it was weird, like I literally arrived at the same time that the cyclist arrived, which was down here. This was the end of day one, Maru.
So, but your
So-
luggage was lost on the airline.
It was lost on the airline. Then United and Lufthansa, and they are pointing the fingers at each other. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, internationally,
we've
they're
done the
essentially
same
the
thing.
same.
So.
You couldn't just go to a bike shop and rent a unicycle?
Run a wheel. Run a wheel and a seat.
So basically, if I'm just going to cruise down here, and then I'm going to start a little slideshow for you. But you can see that it's rural as far as India goes, but there's a lot of waterways, and so we were on at least one ferry every day, and oftentimes several ferries. Yeah, because there's so many water crossings, inlets, rivers that are emptying out into the, so you can see, yeah.
How the rivers go in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are the colors just different days? Or?
Oh yeah, I just use different colors for to mark the different days.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. I'm hoping my friends are enjoying this. We are broadcasting. There's also like a control panel where you can interact with people, but
They could send you little text.
I can't do it that
They could
well.
be sending you messages, I suppose.
Okay,
You have
so
to set up so people in India are hearing.
Right.
I'm
no,
hoping.
They could be sending you
Yeah.
text messages.
well, that's the thing, but I'm not paying attention to it. Okay, so because I had my injury, and I had the computer failure, and I had a merger that I had to work on until yesterday, to the extent that this sucks, it's my fault.
No.
And to the extent that it doesn't, so Carol provided some photos, but she didn't get an opportunity to review this. So, and I'm not the best guy to select stuff.
Great,
So anyway, oh, and I'll tell you one other thing. So there's two pieces of music, and the first one is a song called Breathless, and it's famous in India, and the guy actually does that continuous breathing. So, and there's going to be some wacky pictures in here too, but I just thought they would at least trigger some questions. So this is about 6 minutes long. Hopefully it won't get too boring. Whoops. Oops, sorry. Is that full?
Carol took that picture.
I did. I took that one too.
Yeah.
The first thing Jim did was get a shave. That's a great one.
That's the gateway. That's where we left.
That's where we started.
High vis colors.
And they gave us all these reflector
That's the
vests.
solar guy?
Yeah.
Yep. Those are all the women. You'll notice the India women are fully clothed.
This is a fort we went and visited. There's no charge. Just got to get in.
Fort on an island in the middle of the water.
So Nandini, two of the people on our tour are tour guides, and so she actually gave us a tour of the fort.
Yeah, that's what they do as an occupation.
Yeah. So I had near heat stroke the first day.
What was the temperature like?
It was more that I just was working super hard. And Carol, you look buff there.
You saw those birds just in a tree?
She's drawing a sand picture.
She was an artist, and I had another one prepared for her, and we landed on one of the times we landed on the beach and rode for a kilometer on the beach. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you rent your bike?
Oh, that's one.
There's Bert.
That's her, yeah.
Where's Bert?
Marin. So there's the fish getting caught. There's the fish getting cooked.
Oh, that's great. And there, the fish was fabulous.
How spicy was it?
Everything was spicy.
Very spicy.
Pretty spicy.
Ridiculously affordable.
The fish was spicy.
That's Chandana, and me having a little fun with her. This is a museum at the very top of this very steep hill. That's actually inside that globe. So a lot of trucks have that on the back. Horn okay, please. Like beep. Let me know you're coming around.
What's that sign say?
It says, "Don't ask Jim too many questions during the presentation."
That was breakfast.
Yum.
That's my luggage.
Rice and
Potato
coconut
curry?
and cilantro.
And one of the many. Sometimes the truck would get a little stuck on the.
That's beautiful.
Was that your sack wagon, that truck? That little truck?
That truck had everything. All of our luggage,
Bikes.
couple bikes. That's a bar we had to go to get some beer because these guys wanted to have beers every night, and that wasn't always an option. Like you had to find where you could buy the beer and where you could drink it.
Tuk-tuk.
Yes.
Purple.
Yeah.
Purple tuk-tuk.
So this is that's actually at a big ashram, and Sushil was donating this one of his little chargers. His company makes it easy for me to spot my shoes.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's a trash disposal made to look like a tree trunk. So I had a routine, and I would wash my clothes each night and hang them.
Oh,
What did they think of your unicycle?
They went nuts.
it was
They went nuts for it. Yeah,
major
no.
attraction.
Because many people had not seen it at all, like ever. Like there was no.
Tell people
Oh,
this is
that's
all
what
that
they were-
arrived with my luggage.
The guys were resting, waiting for lunch to be fixed.
We were hit with the kids. Everybody was. They were just all excited to see the tour.
Riding on the beach.
A lot of little kind of shrines and temples. Sorry for the color. It's a little washed out. That's Rutesh. He was hilarious. Our leader.
Another ferry.
That was our penultimate hotel. That place was pretty cool. This is just from my GoPro, but you can see how many cows were there. I was kissing the asphalt because we had just been on some pretty rough ground.
Some cow chips there. You were kissing the cow chips?
Yeah, it was.
You know, near the
Looked like it.
ocean, they fish for
I'm sure I
shrimp,
must be wrong.
and on the well-paved roads, they spread it along both sides of the roads on the pavement to dry the shrimp. The cars just go riding right by it.
Bless you.
It's pretty. That's pretty.
Bless you.
Oh, Karen, you're
Is that
on your
people?
head.
Yes, it is actually. There's some kids. That's actually back in Mumbai, but I wanted to weave it in.
Great. Another market.
What was the temperature?
So that's the back of the truck. That's actually rather neat. And then there's Nandini petting a bull. That's kind of what it looked like when I was charging my stuff.
Well, that's only your stuff?
Just mine. That's our last hotel we stayed at. There's our truck. Yeah. There's a whole family, 4 people on a little motorbike. There's Marlene, Chandana, and Malind. That's on the bridge to Goa. So literally we're crossing. There's Carol.
Nice, Jim.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice
All right. So I thought we could take, if you want to ask a couple questions, and I have a couple fun videos that I'd like to show you at the end that are each like a minute long. So if we could maybe save 5 minutes for a couple fun videos. But questions? Or Carol, do you want to add any commentary?
No, I'd love to see the fun videos, unless anybody has any questions about the trip.
How much did the trip cost?
How much did the trip cost? Well, let's see.
$350.
That's what the tour was, yeah.
Wow. And
How many-
they didn't provide bikes, but they provided all meals, most meals, no meals.
They provided all the meals,
Yeah.
the guest houses.
So how did the bikes come from?
I think the bikes were extra,
The
weren't they?
bikes were extra.
Oh,
The bikes
yeah.
were 125, I think,
For the whole
each.
thing?
Mountain bikes. They were good bikes.
How many days was the tour?
8.
Whoops. Yeah.
And it was
hotel.
very reasonable. You know, they were
Hotel
guest
and
houses, so
Yeah.
they weren't fancy. You know,
But the
not
nice-
air conditioning. We had buckets. You had a lot of hot water, but we had buckets. So it was, it was very much like being with the Indians. The people fixed the food when we got there, and it was all fresh.
So I was a little mean. This
Oh my
is
gosh.
this is capturing
Oh.
one of our riders right before lunch snoring.
Oh.
That's PJ. PJ actually runs and everyone else was, cooperating.
They would zonk out in the heat.
So,
High humidity? It was humid, but it wasn't, to me, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that pouring sweat humidity like you get in a lot of tropical
yeah, it
countries.
was.
But yeah,
So what we ate a lot of was.
breezes too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We ate a lot, especially for breakfast, poha, which is this kind of light, fluffy rice, and it's great. It's delicious. But if you're gonna go tour a museum, it's fine. But if you're gonna be riding all day, it wasn't enough. So Carol and I were constantly in search of bananas.
Yeah.
So here's one of the riders, Jui. And by the way, there were 4 women, Indian women, all married, and all came by themselves,
Yeah.
which was, I thought, pretty
One
cool.
of them, it was the first time she'd been away from home in 16 years.
Yeah,
since
the
she was
artist.
married.
Yeah. So here's Jui explaining poha.
Oh, that looks good.
It's delicious.
Mm.
Coconut.
Mustard and turmeric and chili.
Coconut,
There we go.
cilantro,
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes
Well,
nuts.
she's obviously wants to be a YouTube star. Nice.
The Food Network star.
Exactly. So,
She teaches very little children how to speak, isn't it?
yeah, she's an audio, what did she say? Audio something
Yeah.
therapist. I have it written down. 'Cause
Yeah.
but it's not audiologist. There's a very specific 3-word title that she
Children
kept
who
going.
are, it's called when you can't speak.
So were most of the people on the trip foreigners, or were they?
No, there were 14 Indians and 4 Americans.
Yeah, they all.
And all the Indians were from Mumbai or
Yeah.
right in the area. So for me, that was awesome
That's cool.
because it was immersion in culture.
Yeah.
Plus, they were also kind of out of their element when they were, they were weekend warriors. So I was getting their perspective on touring this other part of the country that they're not
They
normally
were
in.
professional
professionals, well educated. Some of them had their own like bike shops or
So
motor
this
shops.
this next video, so one of the guys, Sushil, he's the guy that had the solar bike. Now the bike wasn't really, getting enough charge to power the bike, but it was power assisted. But he was doing that to kind of draw attention because he had designed, and his company makes a solar powered cell phone charger, and he was donating. He brought several with him, and he would donate them to places where they thought they could use them where they didn't have power. And one of the places is this temple that we went to, and Sushil explained it, and he's really down on himself because we didn't do multiple takes, and it was his first time. But at the end, Amit, who's this other rider, kind of comes in and says something, and we called him the video bomber. So we kind of had fun with this video. So this is it.
Hi, I'm Sushil. We are here at Ganpati Pule temple, and I'm distributing this solar battery chargers, solar mobile chargers as a part of my project, which I have built in my company where I work at. So the solar battery charger has a panel, has a circuit and a USB port, and it can charge any battery depending on the capacity of the battery. Yes. So I'll be donating these to someone who needs it, who doesn't have access to maybe electricity and who wants to study or who wants to progress in their life. And I'm going to give it to someone in the office at Ganpati Pule temple. So happy for Sushil, noble cause.
That's the video bomber.
I've heard of photo bombing.
He had to be in the video, so.
That's great. They were so funny. But
Okay.
he's a young, passionate man about solar power, and he now has companies that are sponsoring him, and he's going to be riding across India in a solar bike.
Oh, cool.
Promoting solar power.
Good kid. Wow.
In Marin, the Lark Theater is doing a big presentation about solar power, and we're getting him involved with it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're trying it. He's helping us find some speakers to come and talk about solar power.
So this next one's a commercial. Our driver and the mechanic would always be going, "Shaklaga, shaklaga," and I was like, "Okay, shaklaga." I started saying it with them. I didn't know what they were talking about. And so then finally somebody said, "Oh, it's a commercial for these switches, because a lot of the switches you'll get shocked." And so there's an ad where for a switch where you won't get shocked. So I looked it up. I had to see it, and of course it's on YouTube. So this is the Shaklaga video commercial from India for Havels, as they're the manufacturer. So they're like, "We gotta go see the parents about this kid."
Totally shockproof life. Just habits. Strip RCCB and MCB.
And if you ever go to India, like the whole electronics on the street are like this,
Oh, yeah.
just like cross. Yeah. It's just like,
Okay, I got
Well, they have simple lads. I noticed that was only about half the video.
so then I'm gonna show you. How much time do we have?
Manat in
15 minutes.
Mumbai with the 2,000 people outside Shah Rukh Khan's house.
No.
no.
There
Sorry.
Wow. You have it.
No.
So this one is just a little sample of what Goa traffic was like once we got there, but that's because there were 2 huge music festivals going on, and I was actually walking, but this is what it looked like.
You guys having a good time?
This is like on the side of the road. I couldn't even walk.
Actual Goa traffic jam. Party,
So like
party!
Folsom Street today,
Party,
so
party!
trying to come out from San Francisco.
I just want to do
Just a match.
Didn't we ride through some
All right, and
We did.
How did you make your way through that? You go with the flow.
All right.
No flow.
Now,
There's no flow, yeah.
No
flow. Oh, funny.
so there, I just have a couple other short ones. So these women, Nandini and Chandana, are both tour guides, professional tour guides, and we became friends. And I stayed at Nandini's sister's house in Goa. And when I got back to Mumbai, they said we're gonna take care of you the last day. So Chandana took me on a tour, and I videoed a bunch of it. And Nandini took me shopping. And I said, well, I want to get somebody a sari, but I need to explain how it works. So this is Nandini at the sari shop explaining. Nandini is going to show us with the regular sari, which is 6.5 meters or about 20 feet of cloth, how to make it into a sari. Go for it.
Okay, so the sari has two ends. This end, which is more with the design, goes on your shoulder, goes behind.
Mm-hmm.
The other end is a plain end with which you start wearing the sari.
Okay.
So hold that plain end in your hand and start tucking it into your petticoat or a skirt.
Okay.
Make one round, put it in,
Yeah.
and then start making sleeves.
Look how she does this with her fingers. With your
Oh
hands.
my
You can tell she's done it a few times.
You
God.
have it,
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, make 4 or 5 of them, tuck them in again,
Okay.
and the rest of the part goes below your hand, around you, comes over your shoulder.
Okay.
And either you make the pleats here,
This part's lost. This part position.
and then you have an extra part down there, which
And
is
then make
for your blouse. You can make a blouse.
Okay. So you start with kind of a big cloth, and then once you've kind of done it to yourself, you figure out how much is going to be left over
Yeah.
on you. Nice. Just cut it and take it and make something else with it. So very amateur video. That's my fault. Okay, and then here's Chandana. She took me to a place where people were doing a kind of, ritual cleansing, and she explains it here.
Did you actually get a sari?
I did.
And have you worn it?
I only in private.
On the unicycles?
Wait, hold on here.
It's a 14th century Hindu temple site where people from all over Mumbai come to offer their prayers to the dead. This could be the 13th day or the 14th day according to the caste. And then some people come here also to do the yearly prayer of death. People believe this is the water of river Ganges, but it can't be. It's just an underground river which opens around at that crack of stone.
Is that a rat?
And then the water is stored in this tank. The water can be let out as there are trap doors and it goes straight into the sea. Now if you look at a tall building over here, that's one of the buildings where if you want to buy an apartment, it could be $1 million or more.
U.S.
US, yes. And when you look at this place and you wonder, oh my God, how could it be $1 million US? But this is what Mumbai is all about. Contrast is another name for Mumbai.
Beautiful.
Isn't she cute?
She is so cute. She's so knowledgeable. She has her own tour company business now, where ambassadors that come to Mumbai will pay to have her take their wives out and tour around, or themselves tour around, and they'll travel her all over the country to give private tours.
Yeah, she's like
And
top.
here she is in the truck cycling with us, it was such a treat.
All right, I'm going to show you one last one. And this is actually, so this is a guy that I knew online but not personally. He's a unicyclist, and he's like the only professional unicyclist in India. And he lives in Goa. And when I was riding around Goa on my unicycle, he would start texting me like, Jim, are you out on your unicycle? I said, yes. He's like, because everyone's calling me. They think it's me. Well, he he also, where is it? He's an interesting guy. He also,
How big is Goa in population?
I want to say 500,000.
Okay.
I should know that, but I don't. It's because it's relatively small.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Was it 10 million or was it? No.
No.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. That's what I wanted to get.
Yeah. So this guy's name is Neptune, and he's into mouth harps, and he has a stall at a weekly market where he sells mouth harps. He's an expert. He runs the World Mouth Harp Festival in Goa every year.
What's mouth harp?
Mouth harp, also known as Jew's harp.
It's a harp.
Yeah.
A musical instrument.
You're gonna see because I've got a video of him playing it.
On the unicycle?
No.
A mouse harp.
This is at the marketplace. And he's got them from all over the world there.
Is that him?
Oh, I guess that's it. Yeah, Neptune Chapatine.
Is he German or something?
He is American, but his mom was a hippie, and he was actually born in Goa. Then they moved back. They lived in Berkeley, and then they bought learn Hindi audio cassettes, and they worked through the book, and he's fluent in Hindi, and
Wow.
yeah,
How he lives there.
He lives there.
yeah.
Well, Goa is
So-
a hippie trail. That was like, a big
You said
mecca.
early on in the talk about how you were going through an area that was rural for what passes for rural in India. Is that because what's rural is less rural or more rural than what we think of?
Well, a couple things. Like, one is, and I meant to show the map. So, like, China's, just above. China's 3 times as big as India, but the same population. So, for the most part, there was constantly traffic when we were riding, and there was only, I would say, a couple times where it would be a couple seconds between cars, and then there was one stretch, I think, where you saw the one shot where the sun's going down, where you might actually have a couple minutes between cars, but it's not like being in Wyoming or Utah where you could wait hours and not see a vehicle. There is always somebody within earshot. So, and on the other side, the urban is just like crazy. There's just a crazy number of people. I'm sorry, Jenna.
Well, did you get used to that, or did you feel like get me out of here?
I got used to it, but I remember driving the first day when Carol and they were riding, and we were driving, and I was just watching how we were driving. And initially, we were in Mumbai, so I was like, I wasn't worried because it's going to be rural. But when I knew we were in the rural setting, and I just saw there's, like most of the roads don't have lines, it wouldn't matter. Everybody does what they're going to do, and I just was really like, I was nervous about, like, I'm going to ride in this. But then pretty quickly, we just did. And I meant to show, did I bring it?
It was a little hazardous for Jim, I think, because he was such a spectacle on his unicycle. So everybody who rode by us wanted to slow down and look at him and yell out their car windows. And I think that was a little nerve-wracking for him.
Oh, man, yeah.
It was very nerve-wracking.
So I forgot, Malin gave us all these safety jackets, and it was really good, I think, not just so much for the cars, because they still would come close to you, but also for spotting each other.
Yeah.
And then I have this, and I just brought this to show it. I don't know if any cyclists would be into it, but I wore this. I don't know what I'm doing now, but anyway, this is a set of packs that wraps around and zips in the front. So I always had stuff accessible.
Yeah.
And this was really handy because I also had a backpack, but being able
your handlebar bag?
Actually,
Quickly, Jeff, have me for half of it.
I'm kind of,
Hands-free.
if I could have made a video, I realized all the things I didn't do, of course, in putting this together, but I really needed to just make a video where I went through my equipment, but also I had a speaker, so I just had music playing, and yeah, it was.
And you had your GoPro,
I had my GoPro on a lot of times, although I wound up not using too much of that. Okay, I'm going to stop the broadcast. I hope.
After this experience, what do you